Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Collaborate 15 OAUG Forum Speaker Orientation. We will begin in just a moment, but first I'd like to go over a couple housekeeping items. You will be on mute throughout the presentation. Please feel free to utilize the questions box in your control panel at any time to submit your questions. We do have several volunteers on the line, and they'd be happy to answer any and all of them. This session is being recorded. It will be posted on the OAUG Collaborate website in a little bit, and we encourage you to share it with anyone who is unable to make it. I'd like to start by introducing Melissa Sider from AST Corporation. Melissa is the 2015 OAUG Conference Chair. Melissa?
Thank you, Carly. And I'd like to first welcome all of you to the Speaker Orientation webinar, and also personally extend a thank you to each and every one of you for volunteering to share your knowledge and wisdom and lessons learned and experiences and all those different things that you guys share with our audience and with our fellow colleagues. Your contributions to this event are incredibly meaningful and really make the event useful and a good value for the many, many people who are attending. So thank you so much for being here. We'll be sharing a lot of different information with you today. Hopefully you'll find it useful. I'd also like to introduce Kaberi Nayak from MITRE Corporation, who is our 2015 OAU, one of our 2015 OAUG agenda chairs. Kaberi?
Thanks, Melissa. Hi, everyone. My name is Kaberi Nayak, as Melissa mentioned. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today for this informative webinar, and we hope all of you can take back some information that will help you as Collaborate 2015 conference speaker and make it a wonderful and satisfying experience for everyone. We definitely appreciate your contribution in submitting papers, and that basically shows your, you know, how much you like OAUG, the conference, share your knowledge. Every bit of it is highly appreciated. I worked for MITRE Corporation for the last 15 years as a technical Oracle Apps DBA, and I'm an Oracle ACE, and I've been working with Oracle eBusiness Suite and PeopleSoft since 1996. Have attended, presented at many conferences, Collaborate conferences, Connection Points, Open World. I'm an OAUG user member since 1999. And I'm a past OAUG Board of Director, also have served in many OAUG committees like Education, International, Support Council, in just to name a few, in different roles as volunteers. I'm currently OAUG 2015 Education Committee Co-Chair and also 2015 Collaborate Conference Agenda Chair, working along with Ann Cooper. And with that, I'll pass it on to Ann.
Thanks, Kaberi. As Kaberi said, my name is Ann Cooper. From the picture, a lot of you will recognize me as Ann Ristow. I have been associated with OAUG since the inception back in 1989. And like Kaberi, have served in multiple capacities. It's way too long to list. So, Carly, I'll let you flip the slide if you don't mind. So, in addition to the four of us, there are so many other people that help organize OAUG's educational program for Collaborate. Take a look at who's listed on this slide. So each of these people took ownership in one or more of the different tracks that we have. A large team of OAUG members from the Education Committee and subject matter experts from both our GEOs and our SIGs participate in the review and the voting of over, get this, 1,700 presentation proposals. Based off of those voting results, this education team then selected over 600 sessions, and you are one of those 600 sessions that is being presented in the OAUG forum. So with so many great submissions, it was a difficult job to narrow it down, and we feel fortunate that you've accepted the challenge. And I want you to know that you are the best of the best presenting at our conference this year. Holly?
Thank you to Ann Caberry and Melissa. This is just the quick agenda of what we're going to go over. We'll do a touch on Collaborate 15. We'll talk about registration, the Collaborate app. We'll give you some info about where and when you can check into the Speaker Ready room, how your room will be set up and who can assist you, some tips for before, during, and after your session, and as well as what to do for session changes, cancellations, substitutions, and a quick touch on presentation materials. And of course, we'll have time for Q&A at the end.
All right. I know many of you have either attended or spoken at Collaborate events in the past, but just a quick overview for this year's event. For education, the OAUG, IOUG, and Quest will be offering over 1,200 sessions in 17 different tracks, and of that number, about 600 of those sessions are from OAUG, so just about half. We also offer a lot of opportunities to network, including our welcome reception on Sunday night, 2 receptions in the exhibitor showcase, a Groovy 60s party, and also an Hyperion Connect reception. In regards to the exhibitor showcase, it will open on Monday evening with a welcome reception. We're featuring over 200 Oracle partners as well as an Oracle demo ground, so be sure to stop by the OAUG membership booth and introduce yourselves to us. For more information about our offerings, you can, of course, visit the collaborate.oaug.org website. There are recorded preview webinars for Collaborate as well as for the OAUG Training Day workshops. You'll also receive a program guide when you check in at the registration desk to get your badge, which will have information on all of the special events, GeoSig meetings, etc.
As a reminder, all presenters should have already completed their conference registration online using the speaker code that was provided. If you've not registered yet, please do so as soon as possible. You have to register in advance to be eligible to use the complimentary conference registration. Once you arrive at the conference, please be sure to check in at on-site registration to receive your badge and your other conference materials. We are offering a self-service fast-track check-in. There will be kiosks available to speed the on-site check-in process. Keep an eye out for an email from the registration team that will provide all the details for how to utilize this fast-track option. All speakers and co-presenters must be registered and have an attendee badge to have access to the session rooms and other conference events. Please remember that OAUG only communicates with the primary presenter, so be sure to keep your co-presenters informed. You'll need to be sure that your co-presenters have also registered in advance and pay the applicable attendee registration fees. An exhibit hall or exhibit booth staff badge will not provide access to the session rooms. If you haven't already done so, all speakers should get the Collaborate app. You can download it from your mobile device or via the online site at the link on your page. The app will allow you to view sessions and event details, create your own personal Collaborate agenda, locate your peers and post comments and questions, view an entire feed of the event activity, including posts, photos, and more, and expand your professional network through the in-app communications. Speakers should definitely be on the app to check into your sessions and see any conversations that are going on in advance. There will not be a printed session agenda, so all the information will be available through that app. You should encourage your attendees to check into your sessions on the app. The check-in links will appear in each session record a few minutes before the session starts. It's one way that attendees can get points while using the app and participating at Collaborate, and they have a chance to win daily prizes. Additionally, we're using the Collaborate app for session evaluations. We encourage you to encourage your attendees to complete the session evaluations in the app. We use this data from the evaluations to select winners for awards and as well as select speakers for future events. We are offering a Collaborate app training session on Sunday, April 12th from 11:30 to 12 in Mandalay Bay Ballroom K, which is on the second level. And if you can attend, you'll learn all the benefits and features that it offers. And there will be a help desk set up on site to help you with any problems you're having in terms of downloading or accessing the information. Caberry?
Yep. As with last year, all speakers will need to check in at the Speaker Ready room 2 hours before your session starts. This actually allows us to know you are on site and communicate any last-minute schedule, room changes, or other important information you might need to know. If your session is in the first time slot in the morning, please check in as soon as the speaker ready room is open, which will be 1 hour before your session begins. If you have any issues, please do not hesitate to contact Carly immediately so we don't send out a search party. We just want to make sure you are on site and will be delivering the session. We don't want attendees to get totally confused. This room will be shared with the OAUG, IOUG, and Quest presenters and will be equipped with a projector, screen, and workspace for your convenience. The speaker ready room is offered on a first-come, first-served basis. The room location is Jasmine D. And
sorry about that, drinking. Anyway, every one of the rooms will be equipped with a projector and an AV cord. Notice this is in bold. There is no connection for an HDMI output. I have personally a newer laptop. I went over to Best Buy and it cost about $10 for me to get the HDMI to AVG cord. So you are responsible for doing that if all you have is an HDMI output, or you can go ahead and maybe borrow somebody else's laptop. So you'll have a projector. We're going to have the big screen. We'll have a wireless microphone. I want to make a note. If you put your cell phone, don't wear your cell phone next to your microphone. That is what causes the static. So I would suggest turn your cell phone off while you are presenting. You can't answer that phone anyway. There will be laptop speakers. There's a laser pointer, wireless internet access for the speaker only. You do not give out the password to everybody in the room. What we are not providing is the laptop or the computer, no power cords, no extra HDMI, VGA adapter. We don't have your presentation. You need to bring that with you. There's no telephone. There's no internet access for the attendees. So I just want to give you a warning. If you give your internet access password out and you need the internet, you've just slowed down your entire presentation. So next slide. Room monitors. Some of you that have been there before, you're used to the room monitors. Every room will have a room monitor. And these ladies and gentlemen are going to scan each of the speakers. They're going to watch those badges to make sure that they have the proper badge to even get into the room. They will do some head counting for us. They're going to make sure that the room is set up before and after the session, and they're going to assist with any session room issues. So, for example, one time I got in there and I needed help getting the prior speaker out. The room monitor can help you get the prior speaker to the end of the room. If all of a sudden the overhead goes down, they know how to get a hold of the person who's able to fix it for you. So this should be a non-event for you, the speaker. Melissa?
All right, here are some things that might help you before your session to know. First of all, be sure to monitor your email and the Collaborate app for any changes to the schedule. Those will come through the app and they will be emailed to you. Also, I think it was Carly who instructed you to check in at the speaker ready room. Maybe it was Kaveri 2 hours prior, unless you're the first session, and then you can just be there 1 hour in advance. We do ask that you arrive at your session room about 15 minutes before your session is due to begin. That will give you the ultimate time to get yourself set up and get yourself comfortable in the room. You can set up your laptop and load your presentation. And again, be sure to bring those items if they're not provided. And there will be a techs on site to assist you with any equipment issues or if you have questions about the equipment. And of course, as Ann stated, you can always notify the room monitor if you need any immediate assistance. During your session, it is good manners to start your session on time. We do try to run a tight ship, and we want to be courteous to the people who are in the room before and after us. So we do want to try to keep things on time. Be sure to use the microphone. I know a lot of times people say, oh, my voice is loud enough, I can project. But some of those rooms are rather large, and we do want to make sure that everybody in the room can hear you. So there is a lavalier microphone provided to you. We do ask that you do please use the microphone. Attendees have a new feature this year. They can check into your session in the Collaborate app, and then they can also complete the session evaluation online in the Collaborate app at the same, not at the same time, but during or at the conclusion of the session. We did have some issues with the session evaluations last year at last year's event. If those of you who were there will recall, those have been corrected, and we, are really trying to get a lot of good session evaluation feedback. So please be sure to remind people to complete the session evaluation at the conclusion of your session. Just a couple of reminders. Some of the pieces of the speaker compliance agreement that you signed early on in the process. All sessions must be educational in nature and not salesy. Again, if you do attend a session that is a really more of a sales pitch, we do want to know about that situation. We do every year have a few who don't follow this particular rule, and those people are followed up with after the event. And in severe cases, they are asked to not present at future Collaborate events. So we do track this. It is part of the session evaluation, and we're very sensitive. We want to keep the nature of the sessions educational, because that's what we're there for, is to help each other understand Oracle better. There is a limit of 1 slide for presenter company information and 1 slide for information about the presenter. We do ask that you try not to spend more than 3 minutes on that information. And I will share what I tell my own internal team when they're presenting, and what I do myself is that I use that information more as an introduction to share why I might be qualified to speak about a certain topic. It's not necessarily because I'm selling you on my services or my company. It's really more to provide a context for this is why I'm qualified to speak on this particular topic, because myself personally, as well as my organization, has been doing this for a number of years. So that's a kind of a good way to incorporate that information into your presentation and make sure it remains educational. We do not provide, unfortunately, the attendee lists for your sessions, and also we do not allow badge scanning at the events. So keep that in mind. We do ask you to refrain from bringing any signage unless it's related to the nature of your presentation. And you can have flyers or promotional materials, but they may, have to be placed on a table in the back of the session room and can't really be handed out. So if you do intend to collect contact information, such as business cards for drawing in the session, you can do that. However, you have to share beforehand with the attendees how their information will be used. So, for example, we may contact you to ask you about your interest in this particular topic, so people understand what their business cards are being used for after the event. So again, these are items that were in your speaker compliance agreement. We're just issuing a reminder today. When you're done with your session, we do ask that you please do exit the session room on time. If you're having really good conversation with people and sparking ideas, that's great. We want that to happen. We want you to collaborate with people after your session, but just move your conversations to another location. The hallway, if you have a good spot in the exhibit hall that you can have people meet you, go for a cup of coffee. There are a variety of ways that you can move these conversations out of the room and make the room available for the next speaker. You can also check the Collaborate app for postings about your own session, or you can post something yourself about your session. And your evaluation scores are generally available within 4 weeks after the conference. And then, of course, we want you all to enjoy the rest of Collaborate. Attend sessions yourselves, network, enjoy the networking opportunities. This is an opportunity for all of us to come together and really, it's called Collaborate for a reason.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank everyone for submitting your presentation slides and white paper for your session. We appreciate the effort that goes into preparing these documents and your cooperation in following the guidelines. You may make minor revisions to your copy of the PowerPoint if necessary for your presentation at the conference. We know, sometimes things are updated later, so please feel free to do so. But also please ensure any revisions are within the guidelines and requirements for PowerPoint from OAUG Collaborate. The presentation management system is open now through April 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and will be open again for 1 week after Collaborate conference is over, so you can upload any revised materials. The slides for all 3 user group sessions will be available for attendees to download from the Collaborate app and will remain available for 2 weeks after the conference. The password for downloading material is being provided to all registrants directly via email. Session materials are a benefit of paid attendance, so please do not publish, share, post, or tweet the password. Session materials that are submitted on time are also included in the OAUG conference proceedings flash drive that will be distributed to OAUG attendees at the OAUG meeting of the members on Sunday, April 12th. We'll then be uploading all the materials to the OAUG conference paper database for access by OAUG members. This should be done by the first week of May. The only exception is the Primavera session materials, which will only be available on the Primavera 6 website.
We sure hope that you're not going to cancel, but if for any reason you're not able to present your session, please contact me or Nicole Urbanik for a GeoSig session immediately. We know unusual circumstances sometimes arise, so please notify us if for any reason you can't be at your session. It'll give us time to either schedule an alternate or at least communicate with attendees that the session has been canceled so that they can attend another session. After April 6th, please notify us by phone and follow up with an email. And if a circumstance arises that you do need to cancel, we would appreciate you providing a substitute speaker, and we can give them your complimentary speaker pass. We'll need the alternate speaker contact details so we can follow up with them directly. If you do not notify us in advance, it will result in a 1-year speaker suspension from Collaborate. You should also contact your hotel if your arrival will be delayed to avoid losing your reservation or if you need to cancel your reservation. Again, I'm Carly Reisner, and I am your primary contact. That is my direct line as well as my email address. After April 8th, any urgent communication should only be done via phone. I will have limited access to email. I will be on site already. So in summary, this was the advanced online, this was your overview, and we do require advanced online conference registration. We encourage you to get and use the Collaborate app. It's a great way to connect with your fellow attendees as well as see what information they need from you. Check in on-site registration upon your arrival and in your speaker ready room 2 hours prior to the session. Arrive at your session at least 15 minutes prior so that we can get you set up. You'll need to start and end your session on time as we have a quick turnaround before the next session begins. Remind your attendees to check in at your session and complete the session evaluations using the Collaborate app. Don't forget, we will provide the laptop, but you must have, we will provide the laptop. It must have VGA port or adapter, and we will provide the VGA cords. An earlier slide did say it was AVG, and I do apologize for that. It's the VGA port that we will be able to accommodate. Please also bring your PowerPoint presentation file and contact me with any questions. So we do have a few questions that have streamed in over the course of the session. I will read them back now. Anyone feel free to jump in and answer. The first is the registration is at the convention center. What time will it be available on Sunday? I can actually answer that one. It is at the convention center. It's in the Mandalay Bay Ballroom foyer, which is on the 2nd floor, and it will be available from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. The next question. If your presentation is first thing in the morning, do we need to check in the day before? I can go ahead and take that one too. No, you do not have to check in the day before, but you, the room will be open 1 hour prior to your session, and please check in then. Can you only go to that speaker ready room on the day of your presentation? No, the room will be open and available on a first-come, first-served basis. So while we do have the room available, please know that it is shared through all 3 groups. So you may not have the ability to connect to the projector at that time.
So Carly, this is Ann. So I just texted you as well a question. I think what the person was asking you is much more of a, I don't have time to go to the speaker ready room 2 hours before because I'm in 6 different sessions, or maybe I'm doing 3 different sessions. So can I just, if I'm doing more than 1 session or whatever, can I like go in on Sunday and check in and say I'm here for the whole week? Or does each one have to be treated separately?
No, if you want to go ahead and check in with the staff person that will be on site, that's definitely fine. But please don't feel like you have to check in the day before. You can, however.
Yeah, you can check in more than 2 hours in advance, but we ask you to check in at least 2 hours in advance.
Perfect.
Thank you for clarifying, Melissa. We did cover this question, but I'd like to go over it one more time since it has been asked a couple times. Is it possible to upload any presentations that have been updated since the deadline for submission? So as Kaberi said, our presentation management system is open right now, and it will be open through April 8th at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll also open it for about a week after the event. Those materials are not, your white papers that are uploaded won't be available on site via the USB, but they will be available in the conference paper database, which is accessible to OAUG members. The next question, are there going to be drastic schedule changes from Thursday to Monday, et cetera, that are expected? If I'm planning on presenting Thursday, I might not catch I'm supposed to be in the ready room hours before a session that has been moved to a different day. We know that a lot of our attendees may not be able to come for the entire conference and may have other meetings scheduled. So we do our best to minimize the number of changes and also the drastic changes. We'll be in touch with you to try and, before the schedule is made public, for any changes, to notify you and to make sure that it's the time that you're able to be there.
Yeah, Carly, that's a great point. So if for some reason, and I'll just kind of reiterate what Carly said, if for some reason we do need to ask you to change your session date and time, we would contact you first to make sure that that's a date and time that works for your schedule. But again, we do try to minimize that as much as possible once we get on site.
Someone asked if there will be this presentation available after the fact. And again, we are recording right now, and we will make it available on the present page of the OAUG Collaborate website. We'll also post the slides as well. Can you share the slides? Oh, yep, we just answered that one. Share the slides after the meeting. Do presenters have to register for conference as full attendees? There was a mention of getting a speaker code number when registering, and I did not have one when I registered for the conference. Speakers do not have to register for the full conference. There are options for, but it is a complimentary pass, and if you already registered by the time you received the speaker code, please be in touch with our registration team or me, and we'll help get the speaker code applied and a new invoice sent out to show you that it has been zeroed out. Hold on one second. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what this person is asking. For sessions that are being live streamed, do speakers need to do anything different in the room? Thank you for that question. If you are in a session that is being live streamed to a remote audience as well as delivered live in person, you've been communicating with my colleague, Mike Jones. The process is going to be simple and painless for you. You'll give your presentation as though it were only delivered to the person in the room, except you'll have the opportunity to answer questions from people remotely. Mike will be in touch with you regarding scheduling an orientation to answer any questions that you have as well. Do we have a contact now for app questions? My app is not syncing with online changes. If anyone has problems with the app, there is a help option on the web-based version. It is accessible through the education page of the OAUG website. Or you could just send your question to me, and I will be more than happy to make sure that the right person is able to answer that. I have two presentations.
Also attached to that, because I did also have an issue with the app earlier this week, and Carly did escalate it to the team, and the issue was solved. So we are finding little bugs. We do appreciate that you let us know when you find these things so that we can do our best to correct them before we get to really full conference load using the app while we're on site. So thank you.
Carly, this is Kaveri. I just saw on the app somebody posted a question regarding time zone differences between the app and wherever this person is trying to sync the schedules. So just a note, I'll send you a separate email for the app.
Thank you.
Anne, did you have something to add?
I do. So one of the things we did not cover here is for those of you that have never spoke before, I bet you that you've got some serious butterflies in your stomach. And I just want you to know that, one, we've all had them, so that's good. But I want you to realize that you know your data. You know your presentation. It is going to be phenomenal. Your mom and dad are going to be so proud of you. The other thing I want you to realize is, you've been to conferences before, and you've been in sessions that might have 100 people or 500 people in it, and you may be expecting 100 or 500 in your session, and you get there and there might be 2. I want you to realize that at any one time, you probably have about 50 different places that you as an attendee would be able to choose. So when those 2 people are sitting in your session, those are the 2 people that really want to be there. Some people, when you're in a 500-room session, some people are just taking up a chair because it was the closest room to them. So do not get discouraged if your room is not filled to the brim. I really want you to know that you are excellent. And just because you're at the end of the week doesn't mean you were bad. You were strategically placed to the end of the week to keep people there because your topic is interesting. So those are my little 2 cents.
Thank you, Anne. That is great. I mean, definitely people who are speaking for the first time or maybe second, this is very, very, encouraging for them to know. It is really important when, like you said, I mean, there are 500 places people can be at the conference, and they have to pick and choose, and when they finally show up in your session, even if it's 2 people, they really wanted to hear from you. Thank you, Anne.
Someone has a question about logging into the app. Are you looking for an email password or Collaborate password? To log into the app, you'll need to create a profile in the web-based online agenda manager. You can access that from the education page of the OAUG Collaborate website. This will be you can make it the same login as any of your others, but it is not automatically imported from another system. So you have the freedom to create whichever password you want to create, and that will automatically be imported into your app. So you'll need to manage that on the online agenda manager, and then it will import into your app on your phone. Someone said, can I add a co-presenter now? Sure, you can add presenters now. We ask that you do so as soon as possible, as managing the influx of changes on site will be a hectic experience for us on our end. So please do so as soon as possible, but please remember that co-presenters do not receive complimentary registration. This question is, I have 2 presentations which are back-to-back. Do I have to go back to the speaker room to check in for the second presentation, or can I just check in once? Again, you can just do that the one time, at least 2 hours before, but further in advance if you'd like. Approximately how many attendees will there be per session?
Oh, that's $1 million question.
I was going to say anyone who's ever had to plan a conference before.
So I will comment that this year, actually, we were a little bit more selective. We're offering fewer sessions at Collaborate 15 than we did at Collaborate 14. And part of the driver behind that decision was because we did want to increase the number of attendees in each session. I think in 2014, the average number of people per session was right around the 14 or 15 mark. But we would like to go ahead and increase the number of people attending each session. And you will, again, have wild swings. Some sessions may have just 2 or 3 people. Some sessions may have 150. Most sessions do not attract more than 100 people. Generally, we have maybe a couple dozen out of the 600 that attract a very large audience. Most of those are Oracle speakers or people who speak regularly at the event that have a large personal following. Excuse me. So for those of you who are speaking for the first time, I would recommend, expecting an audience of somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30.
I think also the other thing we need to talk about is the fact that why this app is so important, and you put in the fact that you want to attend XYZ session, because that's what Melissa and Kaveri and I are looking at to say, oh, wow, this room only holds 100 people, and we've got 1,000 people registered. So that's how some of your rooms get switched, is because people are using the application, and we know that it's grown larger than what we anticipated ahead of time.
That's a really good point, Ann. That we do actually look at that data. We look at that data on site, and we watch for rooms that are going to be at or above capacity. So be aware of that. Generally, we don't switch you to a different time. We just switch you to a larger room.
Okay, we have another question regarding the app. It says, I'm not seeing on the mobile app where I can check in for sessions. Will that be coming available when Collaborate 15 starts? The ability to check in will begin several minutes before the session begins. So when your attendees are coming to the room and getting seated, you can remind them then, and the button will be available for them to check in before the session starts.
Right, and just to clarify, the numbers that we're counting are for those of you who add a session to your agenda builder. So in the web-based form, at least, it's a little star-shaped icon to the right of a session. When you find a session you want to attend, if you add it to your agenda builder, those are the numbers that we're looking at during the conference to determine if rooms are going to be above capacity.
The next question is, I am not clear how long I have to present my material. You should plan to have your session be about 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, so that'll leave you time for Q&A. If you have an incredibly intriguing session and your questions run over, we ask that you do move them to another location so that the following session can move in behind you and get set up.
Right. Each time slot is 1 hour. Is that correct, Carly?
That's correct.
Yep. So each time slot is 1 hour, 45 minutes of content, 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A.
The next question is, can I change or add the tracks and product lines for my session? This is similar to the question about adding a co-presenter. If you would like to make changes, please do so as soon as possible. Once we get on site, making those changes will be difficult. Hold on just one moment, please. Is the number of people who sign up for a session available to the speaker? Unfortunately, with over 600 sessions that OAUG is responsible for, we can't make that information available to anyone. Okay. Can we change our employer in the PowerPoint due to job change since the paper selection? Should we inform someone about it so that it is updated on the OAUG webpage? Yes, you can update your materials. Please use the presentation management system, open now through April 8th at 5 p.m. To update your profile, you'll need to visit the OAUG.org page. In the upper right-hand corner is an option for log in. When you select it, there will be a drop-down menu, and you will need to click Edit My Profile. You'll use the information, if you are an OAUG member, you'll use your profile information. Otherwise, you will use the information that you're using for the presentation management system. Unfortunately, I don't have access to update those for you, but you can do it through OAUG.org. If you have any trouble whatsoever, please do contact me, and I'll get our membership team involved. We've answered a couple of these so far. Hold on, just bear with me one moment. The next question is, I might have missed this, what happens in the speaker ready room? If any of you guys who have presented would like to share that information, get the experience in total, that'd be great.
We hog tie you. No. The speaker ready room is really designed for you to test your equipment. I don't know if you've done this in the past, but the very first time I presented, I think I stood in front of a mirror 3 or 4 times. The speaker ready room is a mini room that would allow you to hook everything up, practice with the pointer, and hopefully it's giving you that comfort level so that when you get into the room, you know what to expect. So, like in my case, I'm horrible behind the podium. I need to move around a lot. But I have to figure out how am I going to flip my PowerPoint and be able to dance across the room at the same time. If you're a person like me, may I suggest you bring a friend and you just tell them to sit up there and hit click each time. So, but that's what the speaker ready room is a mini real-life presentation room.
We have a follow-up. Can I meet my co-presenter in the speaker ready room the day before and practice?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic idea, and it's a great way to utilize the availability of the speaker ready room.
And it's actually, this is Kabiri, you don't have to do it the day before. If you want, you can do it 2 days before or whatever works for you.
I will just comment here. Not everyone will take advantage of the speaker ready room. For those of you who have done many presentations in the past, you may not even ever step foot in the speaker ready room. However, for those of you who need that extra level of comfort, the room is a resource that's available for you to use at your convenience. But again, per Carly's instructions, it is a shared room between all 3 groups, so you may or may not find the room occupied by other presenters with the same idea.
Everyone, my experience is if you're getting in there Saturday or Sunday, I would jump in that speaker ready room earlier instead of waiting. My experience is that it will be packed on Monday and Tuesday if you wanted to use an entire hour.
We have a question. Will there be drinking water bottles available at the podium? Unfortunately, we cannot provide those to our speakers, but please feel free to bring your own.
We do usually have pitchers of water and glasses as well for speakers, I believe.
But I think, isn't everybody getting a water bottle in their backpack this year?
That is a surprise to me. I wanted to be surprised on site, so I'm not sure about that.
Oh. You may have a water bottle.
Generally they do, so yep.
We have a question regarding support on site. It said, last year I had an issue running the presentation from a tablet, but others had success. Do you know if the tech support guys have some experience with this for this year? We are using the same tech company from last year, and they will be more than happy to assist you. I would recommend trying to find them before your session starts to see if you're able to run your presentation or figure out what needs to be done in order to make that possible.
In other words, go to the speaker ready room first.
The theme of this presentation is the speaker ready room. We have another question regarding changes to the presentation. Can we change the objective listed in the original abstract? Yes, you can send me changes. Please do so again as soon as possible, because once we are on site, we will not be able to make those changes easily.
So actually, I'd like to address that question too, Carly. You can slightly alter the objective of the presentation. However, if you are completely changing the topic that you originally proposed to something totally different, that is not something that we would ask you to do at this time. You know, your paper was selected based on what you intended to deliver during the abstract process. So while minor changes can be sent to Carly, substantive changes really should not be undertaken at this time.
I think, Melissa, the question was basically changing the objective, so it's not changing the title or anything.
Oh, yeah, that would be fine.
Yep.
Will one of the AV texts be available Sunday for the tablet issue? So we do have sessions starting on Sunday afternoon, so they will be around, and they will be at the speaker ready room. Okay, hold on one second, please. We have a few more coming in. Another question about a job change. If you have to have a new company name, this material is yours, and you own it as per our agreement that we have with our speakers. Please be aware, though, that if you have changed a job, you need to make sure that you are still allowed to present that content. You may need to eliminate the previous company's name, their client's name, and any proprietary information. If you only need to update the information about your current job, you can do so on the OAUG.org website. In the upper right-hand corner is an option to log in and update my profile. You will either use your OAG member profile or your information for the presentation management system. We do encourage everyone to be OAUG members. It's a good time to join. Hold on one second, please. We have an issue with the app. Someone's adding sessions, but it's timing them out. If you are having problems with the app, please either ask, if you're on the web-based portion of it near your computer, you can click the help button there and they'll get back to you quickly, or please send the information to me. We do want to get any issues worked out as quickly as possible and before we get on site. So I do appreciate the heads up, and you can send me an email to creisner, R-E-I-S-N-E-R, at OAUG.org, and we'll get you taken care of quickly. I'm just going to weed through these last couple questions. Melissa or Kaberi or Ann, if you have any last-minute instructions. Someone said I'm a first-time presenter. Do you have any tips and tricks for being a presenter at Collaborate?
Sure, I'll take that one. So it's normal in the course of things to be a little bit nervous, as Ann spoke to earlier. Again, you know your subject matter better than anyone, and your audience wants you to succeed. So remember that you know, they want to hear what you have to say. They've picked your presentation over many other options. They're there because something that you put in your abstract or something that you stated in your objectives sparked a note with them. It's something they'd like to learn more about. And as long as you kind of adhere to what you proposed, people should be happy to hear what you have to say. Again, it's normal to be a little bit nervous. Harvest that energy. One thing that does tend to happen when you are nervous is that you do tend to speak more quickly. So be aware of that tendency. And if you feel yourself speeding up, you know, try to slow things down a little bit. You know, we have had folks who come in and it takes them 45 minutes during a practice to get through the material, but once they get in the room, they're through the material in 20 minutes, and then they're looking at, you know, 40 minutes of blank space. Another thing that I like to do is make my session very interactive. So anybody who's ever taken a public speaking course will remember that the first rule of public speaking is to know your audience. I generally start out my presentations with a question or two. Who do we have in the audience? What is the nature of the work they do? For example, if I were to present a paper on UPK, I might want to know how many people have UPK installed or are power users, or how many people are thinking about installing it, to get an understanding of how educated about the product my audience is in order to tailor my message to the majority of the group. Sometimes it just also helps at the beginning of the session to chat with people as they're coming in, because it'll give you a personal connection and help you, again, understand who your audience is before you get started. Again, remember, everybody's there because you have something interesting to say, and you will live up to expectations.
I also want to add a couple things. Have a friend come, or if you don't have a friend there, pick me, I'll come into your room. So have somebody that you could fall back on to say, hey, can you go get the room monitor for me? Or can you turn my slides for me? The other thing is, a lot of times you may be there with 3 or 4 people you work with. Don't have them all sit in the front row. Have them scatter out, because you need to look around the room. The other thing is, when people are asking you questions, do not forget to repeat the question. The noise, the question will flow towards you. You hear it, but anybody behind them will not hear the question. So make sure you repeat it. And one of the things that I learned early on, believe it or not, I never spoke in my life until I did an OAUG presentation. And now anybody who knows me knows I'm not afraid of anything. But you have to give people permission to laugh. So if something goes wrong, you know what? Laugh at it. Just make a joke about it and go on. Don't worry about it. And if it's any consolation, I taught with a person years ago that was so nervous she forgot to zip up her slip or her dress, and she was teaching and the entire skirt fell off. So, you know, things happen. It's not going to be the end of the world. Just roll with it.
Excellent advice, Anne.
Actually,
Mary, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, one more. Like Carly said, I mean, especially people who are going to be speaking for the first time, I would highly recommend, if you get a chance, even early on, go to the speaker ready room. And I can bet you will find other people who are speaking for the first time rehearsing at the speaker ready room. You can make friends there, talk, prepare, present in front of each other. It's just another opportunity. You have the resource, so make use of the resource, and you will feel much more comfortable.
We also had a couple recommendations from our attendees online. One of them says to do an internal dry run, so not just in front of your friends, but in front of your colleagues. And also recommended a book called Exceptional Presenter. Our next question, is there a dress code?
Yes, you must be dressed.
Thank
You honestly don't wear a suit and tie. Collaborate is a business casual event. It's okay to wear short. You're in Las Vegas. It's going to be hot. It's okay. Don't wear a T-shirt. Wear a polo shirt. You know, dress nice, but be comfortable. I think men, if you're wearing a tie, and especially you are a first-time presenter, that tie is going to feel like it's a noose around your neck. So don't wear a tie. Wear a polo shirt. Be comfortable.
And don't forget to zip your dress, right, Ann?
Zip your skirt.
We have a question.
Unless that's your goal, to get a perfect score on your evaluations, make sure you zip your skirt.
We have a question regarding CPE credits. OAUG is authorized to give CPE credits for financial sessions. We will have a list of sessions which are available or authorized for those credits. You will pick up a form at registration. You'll fill it out yourself, but you must sign it in front of an OAUG staff member. It has a list of all the sessions which are CPE eligible. You'll get 1 credit per session. At the end of Collaborate, you will turn in your paper to an OAUG staff member, and within about 4 to 6 weeks, we'll be able to get you your certificate that says that you did attend those sessions.
So where are they going to find a staff member? Because the room monitor isn't a staff member. Should they go down to the booth? Should they go to the registration?
I would recommend taking them to registration. You'll see me on site. You'll probably get really familiar with me. I don't look like I do in that picture, though. But you'll get comfortable. We'll all have OAUG shirts on, and anybody on site will be happy to help you, but your best bet is to take it back to registration. We have a question about the Groovy 60s party. When and where is the party? The party is at 7:30 in the Mandalay Bay Ballroom, and please don't forget your uniforms. By uniforms, I meant costumes. We have questions about the password for downloading the presentation materials. You will be receiving this password via email shortly. We are running up against time. Someone is asking about PDUs. We are not authorized to give those. We give CPE for financial sessions. You will find those sessions in the financials track, BI, and some Hyperion.
However, you can file with your organization with, I believe all you need is the agenda, and they may accept it. So I would go ahead and download the agenda and try filing on your own for those credits.
Thanks, Ann. That's very helpful. There are a couple questions which we haven't gotten a chance to get to. We got to the ones that were quite popular. I wanted to just take this time to thank our very helpful, very informative, and hard-working volunteers, Melissa Sider, Conference Chair, as well as Kaberi Nayak and Ann Cooper, who are our agenda chairs. Thank you guys for all the time and effort you have put into this. If you have asked a question which I haven't answered yet, I will send you an email personally. The conversation's already starting, guys. We're just a corner from this event. So you can use any of these social media platforms as well as the Collaborate app to be communicating with your peers and get excited and see what's going on. Any last words from our volunteers?
Just like to thank everyone once again for your participation in the event. It really is invaluable to our attendees, and we hope that you guys have a great experience. We want to hear about it when it's all over.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining today.
Okay, thanks so much, everyone. Again, this recording will be posted on the Present page of the OAUG Collaborate website. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thanks, Carly.
Thanks, Carly.